I think so. We are
rolling. I'm not gonna do it.
We started that one of the other episodes.
Yeah, somebody called us out on it. They said that I wasn't a very good singer.
Yeah, agreed. Happy Monday! It's Monday this morning.
It is Monday this morning. I love Mondays. You like Mondays?
I do like Mondays.
Yeah, I'm glad you like Mondays, Chip. I'm glad that none of my employees dread Mondays. I was at Harps the other day getting something. I think I may have told this to Clancy, and I was there getting something at the quick checkout line, and the woman across the counter was just like not very smiley, you know?
Yeah. Was it a Monday?
No, it was a Thursday, I think. And I'm like, hey, how you doing? She's like, oh, I'm good, kind of like Eeyore style. And she's like,
Yeah.
how are you doing? I'm like, oh, I'm dandy. And I said something like, what do you got going on today? I was just trying to make small talk. And she's like, well, it's Thursday, which is good because that means it's that much closer to Friday. And I like Fridays. And I don't know why, because that means it's just that much closer to Monday.
Oh, geez.
And I'm just like, so you literally can win. Any day of the week is a loss for you.
You're just like stressing over any day.
Yeah. And I'm like, well, that's unfortunate. I freaking love Mondays. And I don't know. I feel like that's how people should live. Like you should be excited to wake up every single day. If you wake up, if you're above ground, that's a positive, you know?
100%.
So we got a lot to talk about. And we say that every time, but I feel like we really got a lot to talk about today. I mean, we've got top level view. We got my conference that I just came back from. So we can talk about that. You were backstage with a trainer pass for both Joe and Ralph's competition that was this past weekend.
In Hot Springs, yep.
In Hot Springs. We got some Keto Brick news in the works. We got our competition next week, which is crazy. Next week is
crazy.
Peak week.
I feel like
from today is peak week.
I feel like not that long ago we were like, oh yeah, it's several weeks or months out, and we were just getting all the details orchestrated, and now, bam, next week, like we're going to be setting up the venue literally a week from the day this podcast shoots out.
Yeah, pretty wild.
Yeah,
and
came fast.
We've also got some discussion around nutrition manipulations, whether intentional or unintentional.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So which do you want to tackle first?
Let's hit my hardcore confession right off the bat.
Hardcore confession. All right, lay it on us.
Yesterday, Sunday, I was coming back from the competition, had all my meals dialed in. Like I had pre-planned all of my Sunday nutrition before my fresh macros were going to kick off on Monday morning. So I had my meal already in the fridge. I had my chunk of Keto Brick, my coffee, all that stuff was all dialed in. I'm like, all right, I'm going to just make this the best Sunday ever. I had a 3-hour drive, got up super early, left before the sun came up. I was home by like 8 o'clock, 8:30. Went to the grocery store, picked up my dogs from boarding, ran some errands, did some cleaning, got some laundry going, meal prep for this week, blah, blah, blah. All the good things that really fire off a good, solid Sunday. And went for a walk, went to the gym, did all the stuff. And then I'm sitting at home, and it's 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and I'm just kind of relaxing, kicking my feet up. I was tired, exhausted, got a lot of sun.
And you had done OMAD that day. So
done OMAD that day. So my food was all down the hatch. And for some reason, I don't know what triggered it. And I've dealt with this in the past, as even being younger. I had just this crazy bout of anxiety that just filled my head, filled my body. It was head to toe. And for some reason, I turned to food. And I've done that in the past. And I don't have junk food, so I didn't binge eat on anything that was, technically off plan. It was still
you didn't eat anything that you wouldn't
choices.
Normally eat on a day-to-day basis.
So, but for some reason, this crazy head-sprung emotion just encompassed me. It took me by storm, and I ate an entire. I think the first brick that I ate 2 full bricks, which is what it is now. I think it was a peanut butter Talalea. I'm like, no, I had some pork rinds. I'm like, all right, I'm hungry. I'm anxious. I recognize it a little bit, and I'm thinking, okay, what's the least amount of caloric impact? I had a couple cucumbers. It didn't do it, and that was usually my kind of go-to hunger hack or emotion hack. And then I had some pork rinds, a bowl of pork rinds. Okay, I want some more pork rinds. So then, like, it started this downward spiral, and in the past, I've been able to be like, whoa, stop! What are you doing? But I couldn't talk myself out of it this time. And within 10 minutes, it's probably 10 or 15 minutes, I'd eaten probably like 4,000 calories. 2,000 of those were Keto Brick. The rest was pork rinds and like a protein shake, a couple protein shakes. Because my mentality was, all right, Greg, you just way overdid your fat, but your ratio is going to be all skewed. Maybe you need to keep your ratio in check. So I justified with myself that I needed to down more protein. So I had protein shake. So then immediately after that, I'm like, holy moly, what did you just do? Like, you're in prep. You got a show next weekend. Next week is peak week. You need to go to the gym right now. You need to stop what you're doing, or you need to go throw up. And I've never done that. And I'm like, okay, that's not realistic. That's going to start something even worse. You know, that's going to kickstart maybe a bad repercussion further on down. So I immediately thought, all right, what are you going to do? You can go to the gym. You can try to cardio it out, but that's unrealistic. You know, how do you cardio out 4,000 calories and make it actually, like, you can't erase it. You can't.
You'd have to walk
undo
25 miles.
Yeah, it would be hours and hours and hours. And part of me, I don't know if I connected with past clients or like recognized maybe how they think sometimes is like, you try to undo it. You try to over cardio, you know, you feel like you did something bad, so you got to punish yourself. You got to do this crazy amount of exertion and just try to calories in, calories out, and try to erase it. So I talked myself out of doing that because that would be an unrealistic thing. So I was going to get up a little bit earlier this morning, go hit the stairs, get some extra steps in, just kind of move my body. Well, I slept like crap. My stomach was just wild, which you could imagine. That's a lot of fat, a lot of food in a short amount of time and close to bedtime. So I had my alarm set. I woke up in the night. I did not sleep well. My body temp was all over the place. I was restless. I was sore. I was irritable. My GI, my digestion was all kinds of craziness. And so my alarm went off, or was going to go off. And I'm like, no, that's not it. I'm going to talk to Robert this morning. So I got up at my normal time. We came in, we trained, we chatted about it. And there's no undoing it. It happens. And if you can recognize the anxiety or the emotion or whatever that triggers that, I think that's key. So I'm going to just have to do a little bit of headspace work and think, all right, what exactly kicked that off? What triggered that? What caused me to do that? Because I felt completely uncontrolled. It was an uncontrollable, it's a weird emotion. And I posted it in the tribe this morning, and I've seen a couple messages and replies stream in from other competitors or other people that have actually experienced that. And they're like, hey man, it happens. It happened to me. It happened to so-and-so, blah, blah, blah. And I think now just today, I woke up super irritable, not necessarily because of the food, but just like the disappointment in myself. And like, dude, you just screwed it up. Like, you're screwed now. You might as well just not compete. You might as well, like, I had all these just terrible negative self-talks flowing in. And so I'm glad we talked about it, because I'm just going to stay on point today. I'm going to super hydrate. Obviously I know there's some fluid retention. There's a ton of extra sodium in the pork rinds I ate and a little bit in the bricks, but my fluid retention is going to be all over the place. My weight is up like 4 or 5 pounds from yesterday. And I was like super stoked because yesterday I hit a new lowest weight during our prep for this show, and I was feeling good, and I just sabotaged it. So I feel like I sabotaged myself. I'm disappointed in myself. I'm disappointed because, and disappointment in, like, with the disappointment you would feel, you know, as a client of yours. So it's heavy on the head today. I woke up super irritable, hot, sweaty. My body temp is still screwy this morning. My GI, my bathroom activity is a little bit goofy. So I'm just hoping that today, tomorrow, and over the course of this week, things kind of level back off and I flushed a lot of that extra fluid and everything out of there. But yeah, crazy.
It's tricky, man. And what's crazy is, like, people feel hunger just in the day-to-day. Non-competitors going throughout the day, like if it's been a while since their last meal, or if they're, you know, hypo or hyperglycemic, like their hunger is always in a flux. But when you're a competitor and you're just chronically hungry. There's like a massive difference. Like,
Oh yeah, and I wasn't necessarily like I did not feel like physical hunger. It was more of like a mental, emotional
yeah,
state of
it's a
uneasiness.
psychological.
It was so psychological
mayhem, for sure. But
So-
it's weird, man. I mean, obviously the best thing is to not mess up, not deviate, because then you don't have the feelings of guilt associated with it, and then there's no negative recourse mentally as a result. But I mean, you're human. People are human. Like people, this happens to people. So then the question becomes, what's the best plan of action after it's happened?
Because you're not going to undo it. You can't.
Yeah,
you
can't
go back.
out cardio
Yeah.
that. I mean, you would literally, like when I did that 50-mile march, I think my watch said I'd burned 10,000 calories. That was 50 miles. So in order for you to do that, you have to go for a freaking marathon march,
Yep.
you know? Not realistic. And what people make the mistake of doing is they'll try and do exactly what you said. They'll try and out cardio it. They'll try and out train it. Or they'll try and like not eat it all the next day. The problem with that is that's like slippery slope, because then you start yo-yo dieting. And if you do something that you beat yourself up for, and you try and do something drastic to correct course, then after that course correction has been made, you feel like, okay, the damage has been reversed.
You legitimize it.
You legitimize it, and then you're like, okay, now I can justify doing that again if I want to in the future. And that's where people really get in trouble. Where it's best, in my opinion, I mean, if it's like something trivial, like 100 calories more, maybe the next day you could do like 100 calories less or something like that. But like if you go like this,
All out.
then it's best to just like let yourself sit with it, but then not change anything on the following days, because then you're realistic. You just accept it for what it is, and then you feeling frustrated with yourself. Like like next time you're sitting there at home on a Sunday and you're like, man, that bag of pork rinds and extra brick and whatever else looks really tempting right now. Before you go in there and open it up and eat it, you're gonna be like, wait a minute, I remember how I felt when this happened, and I don't want to feel that way again more than I want to feel what it's like to eat that off plan. And then you won't do it.
Yep. I think you have to
know?
own it.
You have to own it. Yeah.
You definitely have to like suck up and be. That was the first thing I wanted to do this morning is like, hey, dude, I effed up. Like,
Yeah,
what
you
do we
got to
do?
own it.
Yep.
Now, the best thing you can do, like that's realistic and not an extreme thing, is like put those extra calories to use with some, heavy compound movements or training this week. I mean, that would be beneficial. But yeah, no sense in trying to like do 10 times more cardio or drastically cut your calories even more or anything like that.
Right.
And your body, especially in a prep, I mean, your body, there's like a point at which you can get away with a lot more in the short term, but you got to be crazy lean in order to have that little operating window. And a lot of people don't get to that point, and then they feel like they've got that flexibility, and then it winds up just totally stagnating them and losing all their momentum and steam.
Right. Turning into a downward spiral too.
Yeah, so you don't want that. But like the emotional, psychological component of food and being disciplined in a prep is honestly the hardest part, but it's good that we have it. It's good. Like it puts things in perspective. And I mean, when I did my first prep, I didn't deviate at all, but I like did everything wrong. That's when I lost the 80 pounds in 12 weeks, starved myself. Like, don't recommend that for my worst enemy. But then I deviated like crazy afterwards, didn't do a reverse diet. In my 2017 prep, I didn't really deviate, but I had one day where I just went to town on Brussels sprouts, so my total carbs would have been higher from the Brussels sprouts. And
That's
I had
an odd food to choose.
Yeah, I had a lot of sodium in there. And so my weight jumped up 11 pounds the next day.
Oh.
And I like stepped on the scale, and I was so hard on myself, man. I was like, man, I don't deserve to be called a bodybuilder. I don't deserve to step on stage. Like, I'm a failure. And you just beat yourself up.
Oh, big time. Like, I think we're so hard on ourselves.
Yeah.
I am at least.
Oh, yeah, for sure. It kind of comes with the territory.
Yeah,
of
this morning was just I was just in a terrible mood, terrible mindset.
And that's why, like, after that happened, like when I did my prep in 23, I literally, that was probably the first prep where I didn't deviate at all. And that was hard. There were moments where I wanted to, but when it's all said and done, not deviating for me is way more psychologically healthy than trying to correct course and do something before. But like there'd be things like I would eat one of those big Sonic ice full of stir, and then I would go and get another one, and I'm like, man, I probably had like 3 of these in a 30-minute window, probably a little excessive. But like your perspective changes the more preps you do, and the fact that you didn't try and course correct and do something drastic today, like that's leveling up for sure, because like an amateur competitor would have done just that and wound up doing more damage than not,
Or gone to the toilet and tried to get,
And I've done that before,
bring it back up.
like that was what before I found keto, that's what I was doing, man. Like I would literally binge and then I would purge. And you'd never done that?
No.
Yeah, that is not where you want to be, man. I mean,
last time I purged was an alcohol-induced purge. Like,
yeah.
And that was in my youth. So
when you're doing stuff like that, it's a really downward spiral.
Yeah.
Big
I feel
feedback
like you would end up turning it into a habit.
Oh yeah, for sure. And then you just do things that make no sense. Like the person on the outside looking in be like, what the hell is the matter with you? Like I remember I went to this steakhouse one time, and I got like this massive steak and sides. This was way before keto, and they had a dessert. Like all this stuff was for the family. And I was the only person in the restaurant, and I was eating all of this stuff. And I got this brownie cake thing that was like literally like a 4-by-4 square, like huge.
Boy.
And I ate like half of it, got sick, took the rest of it in a to-go box, was walking around outside, puked at some hotel, walked into some hotel lobby, went to their bathroom, puked it all up, and then I was sitting there afterwards beating myself up for it, and then I sat down on one of their hotel lobby benches and ate the rest of the brownie. It's like no sense in that at all, So like, yeah, you don't want that. You don't want that at all. But, you recognize who you are, where you're at, you're self-aware enough to see, okay, what's the best course of action going forward, and then you just get better. And that's
you jump
good.
right back on. You have to jump right back on.
You jump right back on a horse.
People turn something like that into, well, I screwed up the whole week. I'm just going to, I'll get back on track on Monday.
Yeah.
Or I'll get back on track in 2 days or the start of the month or whatever. And you're like, I screwed it up. It's like, what's that saying? If you get a flat tire, you don't go slash the other 3 tires.
Yeah.
You fix your one flat tire and you
Exactly.
keep driving. So,
And you got to realize too that the other competitors are struggling with the same thing. Like you might think that you don't deserve to step on stage, but the other competitors may be going through the exact same thing. Maybe some of them have binged. And
there's a lot of eating disorders and tendencies in the competitive world.
It runs rampant.
Yeah.
But you get better. Like I get better every single year. You get better every single. Like this is the first off season I've ever done where I've like tracked my intake throughout the off season. I feel like that's going to be super insightful. Mm-hmm. And this is the first year I've done it. Like once you just level up each time, and next time you go through a prep, you won't deviate. I mean, next time you go through a prep, in 2027, and I ain't going to be deviating. So you better not either.
I know. And part of me is like, all right, you're going to be on stage on Saturday of next weekend. And you're going to be thinking, you're going to be fixated on this day that I screwed up and overate. I'm going to be like, shoot, it could have been a little bit leaner, a little bit tighter, a little bit lighter weight, a little bit better. But that's neither here nor there, and not going to change it now. So
yeah, it's not going to change it now. But the best thing you can do is like take all those thoughts and feelings, put them in your little cookie jar, so to speak, and like pull those out when you need them the next time. It's like, I remember how I felt then. I don't want to feel that way now. Let's not do this again.
And I'm the kind of guy that puts like Post-it notes on stuff.
Yeah.
So I probably will put like a little Post-it note on the refrigerator or the cabinet door or something and say, hey, remember last time? Question mark. Smiley face.
That's actually a really good trick. I've never done that, but I could see that being super helpful. Like if you've got a pantry with a whole bunch of peanut butter up on that top shelf, like put a little sticky note on that peanut butter. Be like, did you weigh this out?
Yeah.
Is it what you are supposed to be consuming?
Just put it on my scale. I'll throw the scale away.
Yeah.
So that's a way to kickstart the podcast, I guess.
Yeah, and I appreciate you being transparent and vulnerable with it, man. Like that's, I mean, you're a coach. Coaches mess up too. We're all humans.
Yep.
We're all going through, and it makes you honestly a more relatable coach because your clientele, I mean, they're battling with this on a regular basis, and they don't have that perspective that you do. They haven't competed as long as you have.
I'm totally down to be transparent. Like I think that's key. And
you just got to own it.
Just kind of who you are as a character.
You just got to own it.
Yep.
What's the next topic we're going to tackle?
Well, buttered maple pecan just came out.
Buttered maple pecan just came out. So one of our seasonal favorites, the fall favorites, our autumn brick, buttered maple pecan.
And
we launched that on Sunday.
Man, is that good.
Yeah.
Oh.
This is one of my favorite bricks. Hands down, no questions asked.
If you could ask me what my favorite, even flavors across the board. Out of all flavors we've launched, this is
Yeah.
definitely top tier.
Crystal will make like chaffles, like dessert style chaffles.
You guys
for
made
breakfast.
me a massive chaffle the very first time I came and
Yeah.
visited.
Yep, I remember.
And you had melted, I think there was butter maple pecan. It was one of the toppings that you had on your smorgasbord of.
Which is way better than syrup or something. Like people that put
so
syrup on
good.
pancakes, like just melt you down a butter maple pecan brick, smother that all on top
There's
of
chunks
it.
of pecans in there
Yeah,
and
man.
pecan butter in there.
It's the way to go.
So by the time this goes live, we probably will have already announced that the tallow version's coming out.
Yes. So we made the butter maple pecan that went live last Sunday. There's still some on the site because we got this palette of maple pecan flavored protein and all of the ingredients, the pecan pieces, all that good stuff. We're like, man, let's make some tallow butter maple pecan as well. So last week we made all cacao based butter maple pecan. This week we're going to make all tallow based buttered maple pecan. And that's going to be dropping this Sunday. So back-to-back weekends of buttered maple pecan.
Yep. And if there's any of the butter-based version still on the site, you guys will be able to get a couple of each or whatever. Mix
We've
and match.
honestly got, like, we've been going ham, as they say, in the kitchen. Like, there's pretty much everything is in stock right now. We're running pretty low on some of them. So I think Primal Fudge is about to sell out.
Toasted almond coconut isn't yet back.
Toasted almond coconut's not yet.
Got that coming soon.
That's off the site right now, but we'll be making more of that soon. But we just restocked mocha. We still have some cake pop. Still have some primal fudge. Peanut butter tallulah is almost sold out, but we're gonna be making some more of that in the not too distant future. So the bricks are abundant right now.
Yep. We have been leveling up on ingredients and production and everything because everybody likes to see them in stock.
Yeah.
And we got a pretty awesome one coming in October.
Yeah, we can't talk too much
No,
about
but
that one, but we got a brand spanking new
Never been launched
Yeah.
before.
and it's pretty good. What else we got cooking? We got so I did the conference this past week, and I spoke at Low Carb for Better Health, which was awesome. That was in Burns, Tennessee. Amanda Decker put that on. She did a fantastic job, amazing host. She took care of all the speakers, put us up in a nice place. It was great. Like the conference itself was awesome. I led like a workout program in the park for people that were interested on Friday, and then I spoke on Saturday. But they had lots of great speakers. There was deep dive topics on cholesterol, heart health. Ken Berry was there talking about proper human diet, but he's also talking about like just state of society right now, which was a good conversation.
Yeah.
We were talking about, they did a deep dive on exogenous ketones. What else did we talk about? We talked about everything, but it was good questions, good people, friendly conversation.
More of an intimate, smaller style?
I think there was like, there was more than 200 attendees there total. I think it was like 230 or something like that.
Sweet.
So not crazy big, but not super small. It was a pretty good number. And it was in this really cool venue in Tennessee. So like there was a bunch of nature trails. So I would go on like a run on the park, like in this nature trail every day I was there. So that was nice. Or I didn't run yesterday, but pretty much every day. So that was nice. And then the last day, she had us over at her place for dinner, and her husband cooked all kinds of good stuff. Like he's a big hunter, so he had smoked some venison. He had some bacon. He had some burgers. He had some roasted marrow bones. He had some brisket.
Nice. How is that?
What's that?
The roasted marrow bones.
They're good. You never had them?
Nope.
Oh man, you're missing out. It's kind of weird because like you get the bones, they're all like cut 2 inches long or so. You roast them, and then like all that good marrow is on the inside. You just scoop that out with a knife or a spoon, and then I'll just typically use that as a topping for the rest of my meat. So I'll just scoop that out.
Say, is that kind of like
meat.
a butter consistency or like spreadable or what?
It's kind of like the consistency of snot, honestly. Which is not sounding very appetizing.
Like mucusy?
Yeah, kind of mucusy, yeah. But it's really
I don't know
good.
if I want to try it now.
No, it's kind of like, I don't know. I mean, what do you think, Chip? Marrow bones looks like snot, right?
I mean, I don't know if it goes snotty, because snotty's kind of shiny. It's more,
It's a matte snot, a dull snot.
But what's the flavor like? Is it?
It's like rich, fatty goodness.
Okay.
But it's super nutrient dense. It's delicious, really high fat content. But yeah, I'll get that, scoop it out, put that on my meat, and then, yeah, it's like the world's best condiment.
Nice.
So that was tasty.
If you were to weigh that out, would you just measure it as like a butter or a animal fat?
Well, you can look up bone marrow, and it pops up in Chronometer. That's what I did. So like I just scooped it out, and you can weigh it out and know what it is. But you're not getting that much out of each bone.
Okay.
Like each 2-inch, 1-inch bone slice, you're getting what's in the inside of the bone. So I mean, it might be like half a tablespoon per bone.
Gotcha.
So not very much.
Cool.
But really rich.
I'll have to try that.
So yeah, that was good. And then, so I was at the conference this weekend.
Yep.
You had a backstage trainer pass because Ralph, our employee who's 63 years old and stepped on stage for the first time, competed in Hot Springs along with my client Joe Davis. And you got to see all of that. Had I not been at the conference, I would have 100% been there, but I'd already committed to the conference before they signed up.
I went on your behalf.
I missed.
Yep.
Yeah,
I got
so
your
you
trainer
went
pass.
on my behalf.
Yep.
Talk a little bit about that. You were there. I wasn't.
That was awesome. They did a split format. So they did pre-judging in the morning. That started at 11, and they started with the guys, men's physique. So Ralph, he was doing Masters men's physique. He was one of the first categories to go up, and he nailed it. It was awesome. He told us he had more fun than he was anticipating.
He's the oldest guy there.
He was the oldest competitor on stage that day.
And he looked, I mean, like he was telling us in the meeting, like when people realized how old he was like instant hero. Because
He was saying that there were
amazing.
some older guys backstage that he assumed, based on their appearance, were the oldest guys or older than him. And he went up and chatted with a bunch of the guys, and turns out he was the oldest, and he looked phenomenal. He did great. It was an NPC sanctioned show. It was very high paced, very quick. The venue was a convention center, so they hadn't had it set up in just a big expo hall, bunch of removable chairs, kind of all just lined up. Typically what they do. They brought in their own lighting and sound system and all that kind of stuff, but very high paced. They did prejudging at 11, so I watched Ralph, watched a lot of the other classes, watched Joe. Joe nailed it. They both looked great. Backstage eating keto bricks, of course. Took some pictures, and then I hung out and watched the other classes, and then went for a walk and kind of went and kicked my feet up and stuff in the hotel. It was nice because the host hotel was actually connected right around the corner, connected to the convention center. So competitors or spectators or whoever was using the host hotel could just walk indoors, down the hallway. So you set me up with a room there. So thank you for that. I went back to the room a couple hours, charged my phone, charged myself, kicked my feet up, and then we went back to the evening show, the awards portion of it at 5 p.m. That kicked off. It had quite a few more people. It was a full house for the awards. Some of the people were buying, the all-day passes going in, and they were going to come back, but it wasn't a ton of people in and out of prejudging. I could see where people were showing up for prejudging to just like watch their family member or their friend or their coached client or whatever, and then they would leave. So it was like in and out, in and out. But the evening show, it was packed. It was a packed house. There's people standing, people in all the chairs, craziness backstage. People were staying for like the whole show or staying quite a bit longer. There was families in there. It was fun. It's really fun being at an event, seeing everybody's hard work, seeing all the camaraderie, seeing and hearing the crowds hollering. They did a good job putting it on. The presentations were good. They gave them a little bit more time in the night show to kind of just show off a little bit or just hit their poses a little bit. The morning was super fast. Like Ralph was saying, when we do our practice posing and holds and stuff here at work weekly, you have us hold our poses for 60 seconds and try to endure that 60-second duration with decent flex, and that's exhausting. And when he came out and he was telling us this for prejudging, they're like, all right, front pose, quarter turn, back pose, quarter turn. All right, thanks guys. Gone.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know how those judges can do that because they're scoring so quickly.
Yeah.
And then on to the next class, on to the next class, on to the next class.
That's pretty typical for NPC. And honestly, man, like when I compete, I look better the longer I stand on stage because I'm, flexing longer, my muscles fill out more. But also, too, like if you're out there posing for a longer period of time, the judges can tell who's actually conditioned.
Exactly.
So it makes them work for it that much more. So I like it when the judges make them work for it.
I agree. Like, you see guys, and a lot of times first-time competitors, or they're not super seasoned, or they obviously didn't practice much, and they're quivering and they're shaking, and I'm guilty of that too. But the longer they hold you out there, the more it differentiates the guys who. I mean,
practice. I was test judging a show last year, and the guy that I had pegged to win, when they all came out there and I was judging them, and I was with the other judges and we were just looking at everybody. I don't know how long they had him on stage in total, but the guy that I had pegged to win looked phenomenal. And then as they continued to make him flex and hold and, move people around back and forth, like he just got worse and worse and worse.
Oh,
And this other guy got better and better and better. So like all the judges had him pegged at first, and then by the end of it, he was like third, I think. And other people had moved up. And it's like, you can't cheat that. Like when you are forced to work, it's like, okay, the people that win first place deserve to win first place.
Yep, agreed. So Ralph did phenomenal. He took home some hardware. Joe did absolutely.
Joe got first in all of his classes.
Yeah, and he went back out for the overall, and they had a couple other guys up there. And the dude that won it was just like, he was. I wouldn't even say a genetic freak because it wasn't genetics, But
he's a pharmacological freak.
Yeah. So it was fun, a lot of fun. So good job, Joe. Good job, Ralph.
I'm super proud of Ralph and Joe. I mean, Ralph, I wrote about this in my newsletter, but he's been working with us for just over a year.
At Keto Brick.
Started keto after starting here. We convinced him to go keto. He's been keto.
And he was kind of like, what? He was a little bit hesitant.
And he was working as a forklift driver at Swan's. And he was like eating their pies, like their chicken pot pie and dessert pies, like daily as a staple. And he was always relatively healthy because he's got like a farm. You're working on that. But like came here, wanted to lean out a little bit. We got him on keto. And then he just like started looking more and more jacked.
He was very receptive.
Yeah.
Like tell us more about
receptive.
this. So tell us about that. What are what are you eating? What are you doing? How do you,
Yep.
It was cool.
And then I don't remember even when I posed the idea to him, but I'm like, man, you should compete, Ralph. Like you are in your 60s. You look freaking amazing. You got bigger forearms and more vascularity than I do. It's like, let's get you dialed in for a show and actually get you to step on stage. And I thought he was going to be like, hell no. But no, he was like, okay.
He's like, okay, yeah.
I'll do it.
Yeah.
So we've been, prepping him, and he got all tanned up, and he freaking rocked it, man. 63 years old. Super proud of him. And Joe, I've worked with him for 3 competitive seasons now, I guess, and he gets better and better every year. And he's in his 50s.
Yep.
And he's actually got one more show this year. He's qualified for the Olympia.
That'll be awesome.
So he's going to be competing at the Amateur Olympia in October in a few weeks, and it's like, how cool is that, man? Like, in his 50s on the Olympia stage, which is something he's always wanted to do. Like, I don't know. I mean, I love competing, but I love coaching too. I love working with people, seeing the excitement on their face. I think I'm really going to love promoting after this is all said and done.
I think so
I'm
too.
Like, man, this is awesome too.
You're going to try to level it up every year.
Yeah, I just love it all. Speaking of the promoting, let's talk about the show for a little bit. So this next week, this is going to go out on Friday, which means we're just a few days shy of peak week for the show. So the show is on the 27th of September here in Northwest Arkansas. And we talked about it quite a bit on the last episode, but has there been any changes since the last one that we should bring people up to speed on? I guess the deadline for registering we're going to make this Sunday at midnight.
Yeah.
So if you're thinking about it, register before this Sunday at midnight so we can make sure we're going into peak week with everything finalized.
We got multiple classes that have already hit the
pro qualifying
tier. I think we're maybe just shy one bikini competitor to make that a pro qualifier. We got a lot more stuff coming in. We got a lot more stuff on order. We got our awards in the works. We got our medals in.
The medals look legit.
Man.
I should have been wearing a medal for this podcast.
Yeah,
the medals look awesome.
Medals are pretty sweet. They're the big, shiny, oversized chrome medals with custom neck bands and everything. Those came in. We got some more swag coming in that we'll shout out probably this week.
Did we talk about our random idea on the last episode? I can't remember.
Which random idea?
For keeping people around the entirety of the show.
No.
We didn't talk about that?
I don't think we did on the podcast.
Okay, so we have an idea, y'all. We are... kind of like you were saying earlier, like shows are typically pre-judging and night show, and there's like this massive several-hour intermission, which makes it hard for the competitors to peak properly for both.
Sure.
Plus, it's like super drawn out for the attendees, and I mean, there's some traditional shows that I've not left until like 10:30 or 11 p.m. at night, and then you just want to go and get something to eat, but then everything's closed, so it's not really optimal. So a lot of shows have been moving to a running format. And there's basically 2 ways to do a running format, as you know. You basically have kind of like a condensed version of a conventional pre-judging and finals with like a super short 30-minute intermission, and you have everybody come up, do the pre-judging, little intermission, and then all the awards at the end. And that's typically what promoters will do so that everybody in the audience and all the competitors stay there until the end. But that's also not really optimal, because then you got to have the competitors come back out a second time. They may want to try and peak twice to look great, and it's just more cumbersome. What we're going to do is what is oftentimes frowned upon, because, you know, if you have like the bikini come out, then you award the bikini, and then you move to the next category. Everybody that was in the bikini just boogies on out of there.
Yep.
Which is not
And their
good.
followers and fans and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So we don't want that. Like, we want people to be there for the entirety of the show. But that is a much more efficient format, because then, you know, they're able to peak very, you know, strategically. They're not having to come back up on stage multiple times. Like, it's just a much more efficient format. So I'm like, well, let's just make something so freaking enticing that nobody's going to want to leave early. And that's exactly what we did. So we got a pretty awesome idea.
And it's a great idea. I like it.
And like, it's going to be awesome. I'm super excited about it. We're still working on a few of the details, but rest assured, if y'all are watching, listen to this, if you're a competitor or an attendee to the show, you will not want to leave early.
There's cool stuff at the end.
There is cool stuff at the end. So we'll leave it at that, but it's going to be good. I'm stoked, man. I feel like there's been a lot that's gone into this. You've put in a ton of work. We've been working on this for months, but I feel like this is going to be, we're going to be very proud of the outcome.
This is like planning a freaking wedding.
Yeah, dude.
Like
it's
so many
crazy.
details.
This is my first time doing like a big event coordination thing. Like, we did that retreat in February, and that was somewhat intensive. But this is
that's
like nothing.
Yeah.
This is crazy.
We got a lot of people. We got a lot of moving parts. We got a lot of gear. We got a lot of swag. We
Lots
got
of
a lot
variables.
of decor. We got another banner that just came in. Thanks,
Yeah.
Chip. Chip designed it. We just got a lot of
stuff.
above and beyond.
A lot of stuff.
And there's a lot of, you know,
A lot of communication with people that we depend on. We had a judge. I don't know if we talked about this, but we had a judge drop out last minute again.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
luckily we've got a backup judge, so we're good there. But yeah, event coordinating, event planning is no freaking joke. But I feel very pleased with the trajectory of this show, and I'm just excited for the competitors' sake. Like, I want to deliver to them. Like, I don't take for granted all the hard work they've put in. And I just want to make sure they're walking away from this like, yeah, that was worth every freaking second of it.
I'm excited to be there as a competitor, but also plugged into all the detail orchestration, because I'll be able to see firsthand, okay, maybe we could do this way, or this was awesome, or this is a great idea for next year as a competitor. So I'll be able to even like pick the brains of other competitors backstage and say, hey man, how's it going? Or, hey, what do you think of this? Or does this work good? And, you know, like, it's going to be all about the competitor.
Yeah, 100%. So you and I are going to need to take a debrief after this for sure, get organized for the following year, and then do something to disconnect and relax. You and I are going to get manis and petties afterwards. You know?
We're going to give each other manis and petties.
Taking too far, man. Too far.
All right. Couples massage, maybe?
Couples massage. There you go. We ought to just like go get our mani and petties while wearing our medals.
Yeah.
I'm not even competing, but I'll still wear a medal.
Well, I'm going to win a couple medals.
Yeah,
so,
100% you are. So it'll be good. How long are we in, Chip?
38 minutes.
38 minutes.
That's pretty good.
Call it a wrap on that?
Yeah, let's do it. So next week when we chat, we'll be in peak week.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Let's go into some details on nutritional manipulations and things, kind of get into the weeds on some of that as it pertains to peak week with the next work podcast.
Sure.
Then we could also talk about celebratory meals, strategic ways to, you know, best do that, which we're going to talk about a lot of that on our live call, which, by the way, shameless plug here, we have a weekly live call for all of our tribe members, and y'all can sign up on that if you're interested at ketobodybuilding.com. But I genuinely enjoy those tribe calls. Like, we get on there, there's a lot of back and forth, a lot of dialogue, and everybody's got the opportunity to come up, share what they want, ask questions. And it's just cool, man, because like, there's so many tribe members that are going to actually be competing at this show or volunteering at this show that this is going to also double as like a big reunion.
It's going to be fun
us.
to meet a lot of people in person that are in the tribe that we've been interacting with cross country or across the globe, actually, and then be in person and in town and backstage. And some of them are helping out at the event. Some of them are just coming to spectate. Some of them are competing in it. So
Yeah.
it's going to be awesome. You were saying that you've got your next experiment kind of in check.
Yeah, I've got my next experiment idea. I ordered some supplies for it.
Supplies.
It involves a lot of canned fish. So, but I'll dive into that with the next work podcast. So we'll talk about experiment, talk about peak week. I've also got some pretty cool sleep hack things in the works.
Sweet.
So we'll talk about that. So we got a lot to talk about next week as well. So
awesome.
It's good stuff. All right, y'all. Until next week. Ta-ta for now.
Keep it savage.
Adios.